The way that you're getting revenge, so to speak, is to retaliate with some sort of behavior. Sometimes that behavior can look like anger. Sometimes that behavior can look like guilt. You can guilt people into something. And sometimes that behavior just looks like withholding love. Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Maggie Mejia. I am a wife, a mom of 3, your sister in Christ, and host of this podcast. Here is where you're going to get short episodes of advice and coaching around everything concerning life, purpose, money, health. Listen, you name it, we talk about it. So it's a small fist bump from me to you of what I get out of the scriptures. Let's get into it. What's up, people? Oh my goodness. I feel like it's been so long. Listen, I'm going to make this one quick because I just really feel this in my spirit. So let's jump right into the scriptures. Philippians 4:10 through 12. I rejoice greatly in the Lord that now at last you have renewed your concern for me. Indeed, you were concerned about me before, but you had no opportunity to show it. Not that I speak from any personal need, for I have learned to be content and self-sufficient through Christ, satisfied to the point where I am not disturbed or uneasy, regardless of my circumstances. I know how to get along and live humbly in difficult times, and I also know how to enjoy abundance and live in prosperity. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing life, whether well-fed or going hungry, whether having an abundance or being in need. Now, the first point I want to make here, when I was reading the text, and the very first thing he says is, I rejoice greatly in the Lord that now at last you have renewed your concern for me. So I said, renewed their concern for you. I wonder what happened. I thought people like went ghost on him. I thought, people just, I don't know. Why did he say renewed, right? So I went into it and reading a couple of commentaries, and what I found out was that there was a period of time where they had neglected Paul. Nobody was coming to see him. Nobody was coming to bring him food. Whatever it is that they were bringing him once, they weren't bringing him now. So I was kind of like, oh, wow, okay. So the point that I'm trying to make here, Paul didn't judge them. When he comes out and he says, I rejoice greatly in the Lord that now at last you have renewed your concern for me. Look what he follows this up with. He says, indeed, you were concerned about me before, but you had no opportunity to show it. So what does that say right there? He basically showed grace to people who neglected him. I don't know who that needs to be for you today. I don't know if somehow you are paying someone back for the way that they treated you or the way that they neglected you, or maybe they did you wrong in the past. The way that you're getting revenge, so to speak, is to retaliate with some sort of behavior. Sometimes that behavior can look like anger. Sometimes that behavior can look like guilt. You can guilt people into something. And sometimes that behavior just looks like withholding love, withholding grace, and withholding favor. I want you to know that favor is literally excusing someone for something that you had reason to resent. And so Paul had every reason to resent the fact that they neglected him. He had every reason to say, you guys forgot about me. When times got rough, you left me high and dry. And sometimes we feel like that, right? We feel like when I was prosperous, when I had money, when I had this, when I had that, you were riding with me. But now all of a sudden, I'm in my desert place. I'm in my dry place. I'm in my valley. And now you left me high and dry. And I want you to know that it's in that place that God would have you have favor on someone. Looking at that person who you have reason to resent, and you show them favor. I'm not saying that you become a walking mat for everybody. I'm not saying that you let people run over you. What I am saying is that while we were yet sinners, Christ forgave us. Favor is excusing something that we have every reason to resent. Point number 2, there are wants that we feel and there are wants that we fear. Paul says here in verse 11, he says, I've learned to be content and self-sufficient through Christ, satisfied to the point where I am not disturbed. That is the point right there that I'm trying to make. I want you to know that there are things in our lives that we want them because we feel we want them. And then there are wants that we fear. And what I mean by that is this. You might have someone who wants to get married, right? And have a real desire, right? To want to get married, to want to have a baby, to want to go to church, right? And these are real desires, and they find satisfaction in that. They're deep desires that they feel because the Holy Spirit is just stirring up their affections for Jesus and their wants that they can feel. There are also wants that we fear. I can use the same examples and say, I want to get married because I'm afraid of being alone. I want to have a baby because I'm fearful of not feeling like a woman if I don't have one. I want to go to church because I fear going to hell. Do you see the difference in motive there? The difference between wanting something because you feel stirred up and the desire and the passion that is driving you toward that thing. And then there is the wants that are literally pushed by fear. So are you being led or are you being pushed? Because Paul made it very clear here. Yes, a lot of people go through difficult times and they live in poverty and they don't know how to live in that place because they live in fear. Always fear on the left and fear on the right. But I love that Paul also says this. He says, I know how to get along and live humbly in difficult times. I also know how to enjoy abundance and live in prosperity. There are other people who don't know how to live in prosperity, right? All of a sudden they get puffed up and prideful. Or you might have somebody who thinks that their prosperity comes from their own hand, so they still live in times of fear. I'm not judging anyone, but I remember watching, there was a Kevin Hart documentary that was on Netflix. And I remember watching that documentary, and when they were on the airplane talking and having a conversation, he turns around and he says, when is enough for you? And Kevin turns around and says, never. Literally. He said, it's never enough. I will never stop working because I am scared to death that one day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be broke. See, that's not knowing how to live in prosperity. That is not knowing how to enjoy abundance, right? So what made Paul able to enjoy anything, circumstances, situation when impoverished, and what made him enjoy abundance? What was Paul's motivation? What was Paul's big why? He says here in verse 12, as he's saying, and I learned to live in prosperity in any circumstances. I have learned the secret of facing life. What was Paul's secret? What was Paul's secret? Paul's secret was satisfaction in Christ. Beloved, I want you to know, if any aim in life you have, let that be for the search and satisfaction in Christ. I want you to swell your spirit up every single day with the presence of God, glorying in his saving grace, embracing his Holy Spirit, loving on Jesus Christ, thanking him for the renewed mind daily. If there is any aim that we are to have in our lives, let it be to continually cultivate the satisfaction that we have in Christ every single day. That, ladies, is the secret to life. Paul knew it didn't matter how his outer circumstances change. The one thing that would never change is the hold that Christ had on him and the love that God displayed for him and the perseverance that God would carry him through to the end. Right? So today, let's live the satisfied life that we know that no matter the circumstances, no matter what we're going through right now, that it is Christ and Christ alone who we glory in and who we are satisfied by. Because remember, ladies, where our treasure is, our hearts will be also. I love you all so much. Remember, go out there, love people, be present, and always do what matters. Peace! Hey, If you like today's show, then you have to come check us out at She Matters University. This is my coaching program for Christian women leaders and entrepreneurs who are ready to pursue their purpose online. She Matters is a digital company that helps you learn, grow, and heal so that you can live a more fruitful, productive, and emotionally healthy life. We accomplish this through e-courses, coaching, encouragement, prayer. We have a Bible study. There is so much going on in and throughout the week. You get one-on-one coaching with me. We do 90 minutes a week of group coaching where I show you how to find your voice, how to get clear on your message so that you can start ministering to the people God has called you to. I want to show you how to renew your mind, restore some of those old stories, equip you for what God has called you to, and send you out there into the online world ready to live a purposeful life and have a profitable e-course business. So if you're down for that, girl, I want you to go to MaggieMejia.com. That is Maggie Mejia, MEJIA.com. And I can't wait to coach you over there.